Yo, what is going on, guys? Winner Kills here, and welcome to a brand new Locals feature match. Here we've got a mirror match, DDD mirror match, a deck that's been seeing a lot of play recently, and that really makes me happy because DDD is a deck I used to cover and play a lot on the channel way back in like 2017 and prior, and I love the deck. Definitely in my, I would say, like top 10 favorite decks of all time. And seeing all the new support and stuff it's got makes me really excited to play it again sometime soon, especially for one deck, 1 month. But two good friends of mine here on the camera, my friend Adam on the left versus my friend Partho on the right. Both playing pretty similar builds. That's why there's no poll result here, because I didn't know how to pull it. I would say who's going to win, DDD on the left or DDD on the right? Really not too much info to go off there to make an informed decision on who you vote for. So we'll just bypass that for the time being for this particular match, and we're going to see my friend Partho on the right win the die roll and opt to go first here, leading with Copernicus, or Kepler, not Copernicus, Kepler into the contract, into Swirl Slime, fusing off with the Griffin, one of the newest pieces of support. We'll see Griffin spec itself from the hand, and then that's going to trigger Genghis. Genghis is going to revive the Griffin. Griffin effect will activate to go ahead and search here, I believe. Still learning a lot of the newer cards effects. I know pretty much what all of the older stuff does. Very, very familiar with that, those effects and everything. Although there are some slightly older cards that are played in here, like Cerberus. I know some people play Orthros, DD Dog. Some cards that I'm not 100% familiar on what they do because it's been so long since I've read any of their effects. It looks like we will see an Artifact Lancia, a main deck Lancia, come down here. It's going to hurt a little bit, turning off Necro and Swirl Slime alike. We're going to see Marksman, or not Marksman Tell, but just regular Wave Caesar get linked into Gilgamesh Chainlink 1, Gilgamesh Chainlink 2, Caesar. I believe Caesar is going to go ahead and be able to search contract here, and then the Gilgamesh is going to be able to go ahead and place those scales and lock our DDD player here on the right into DDDs only for the rest of the turn. So pretty good opening here so far. I don't think Lancia is going to hurt too much here. On the surface, it might seem that it's going to hurt a little bit. But I think he'll be able to play through it pretty easily here, especially with the scales. He's going to be able to get access to scaling the DDD Rage. Go Divine Rage, if I could find it here. Yeah, go DDD Divine Zero King Rage. Also scaling that copy of Kepler, so he has that 0-10 scale. Very, very nice, pendulum scales there. You can pendulum summon a lot of different things with scales 0 to 10. Yeah, the scale effect of Go Rage says, if you take effect damage, you take no damage. If you normal summon a level 5 or higher DD monster, you can do it without tributing. Pretty insane. And you can only use each pendulum effect of Go DDD Divine Zero King Rage once per turn. So we're going to see him pendulum summon here. We're going to see him get access to Marksman Tell. Marksman Tell is going to burn for 1,000. By detaching here, and we'll see what he's going to be able to do with the rest of the board here. If he can fusion, that would be very helpful because he'd get access to another level 6 Genghis, and then be able to make the rank 6, the high wave King Caesar, or wave high King Caesar. So we'll see him make Genghis, and that's going to trigger the effect of Caesar Engrave, which I didn't know if it was on a once per turn or not, or he might be using different effect. Okay, he might be using Marksman Tell, not Wave. So yeah, he's using Marksman Tell. In fact, to dump one. Looks like he's going to dump the Necro Slime for follow-up next turn. He does have Swirl Necro for next turn, which is pretty strong. And he's also not taking any effect damage because of the Rage, so that's pretty strong. Also slap that new DDD Xyz, the Machina. What is it? The Divisor King Deus Machina. Very, very strong, and yeah, it's a pretty good board, and it looks like our DDD player is on the left. They're not going to try to play through that, and he's just going to go ahead and concede, and we're going to go ahead and go into a game 2. Looks like he probably didn't open up too well, and the Lancia was not nearly enough to be able to shut the turn down. So in game 2, as expected, we will see our other DDD player opt to go first, being the combo deck that it is. We will see him lead with a copy of Small World, revealing Necro Slime, and then bridging with Archfiend Eccentric, which I think will allow you to pretty much get access to anything, because I think the only thing that is going to match is that they are Fiend, because it is light level 3, and then the attack and defense, I imagine, also don't really match with a whole lot, if anything at all. And we'll see him go ahead and grab the Savant Kepler, so just acting as a another contract, another Kepler, 1 for 1, etc., etc. Normal summon Kepler, add the contract effect to go ahead and search. And this is another reason is why you can see Droll Lockbird is such an incredibly strong card against DDD. Kind of always has been, so it's nothing new for DDD players to try to overcome. But it definitely can be played through, just like Lancia can be played through as well. So we will see him activate the Swirl, pitching itself with Necro to go ahead and fusion into Genghis. And pretty solid extender there, but just going to go ahead and link it off. Maybe we'll bring it back later to get more extension. So Genghis, or not Genghis, go for Gilgamesh here. Gilgamesh effect is going to activate to pay a full rack to go ahead and set the scales from the deck. One of the most broken DDD cards I think there is. Not to mention it also has a floating effect if it dies by battle or card effect. Can summon any, I think, DDD monster from the extra deck or grave. Really, really insane cards. So if you play like the Super Doom King Armageddon, like you can summon that out. If you play like the Wave Oblivion Caesar Ragnarok, the big 3200 guy, I think you can summon him out. Really, really strong effect. So we'll see him scale Griffin and a copy of Ragnarok. If you're wondering where Rage is, it's not in his deck. He did not get the card in the mail in time, so he had to play at locals without the card. I think it's a very good one of, and I think he would agree as well. Just doesn't have access to the card. And if I see a comment saying, "Where's the Rage? Why no Rage?" Turn your volume on, please. Somebody tell him to turn his volume on. Yeah, so we're gonna see him link off the Gilgamesh and the Ragnarok into another Gilgamesh just to get, I guess, fodder in the graveyard for Necro Slime. And we'll also see him summon out Genghis, and that's going to trigger, well, he has nothing engraved to trigger that Genghis, so I'm just going to go for rank 6, and, I mean, the rank 6 is very strong, but also can be played around pretty easily. It's basically Solemn Warning, and anytime it resolves its effect, it can make it and another DDD monster gain 1800 attack until the end of the turn, and it is an effect that can be used twice per turn. So you can technically Solemn Warning 2 things and make it and another monster gain a total of like 30 or not 36 yeah, 3600 attack. Like that's a lot of attack. So we're gonna see DD Dog get scaled. That's going to negate a monster. Very solid negate there. We're gonna see the Copernicus get normal summoned here to Foolish Burial. That's gonna dump a copy of Swirl Slime, and we're gonna see Lancia activated here. So pretty good setup for our other DDD player here, but we'll see if our DDD player on the right, Partho, can play through this. The dog coming in clutch to be able to turn off one of his monsters. And now we're going to see him use Lamia to pitch a Necro Slime, which is something you definitely would like in the grave, especially if not under Lancia. I can only imagine if Lancia was not in play right now, how many plays could be made for our DDD player on the right. So we're going to see him pay 1,000 here to go ahead and set the scales. We'll see a copy of Kepler in one scale, maybe hesitating on that, and looks like he will go ahead and decide for that, and copy of Go Rage. And making it so he takes no effect damage. He can also normal summon a level 5 or higher without tributing, and we're going to see him Pendulum summon for 4 DD Dog, Ragnarok, the Copernicus, and the Orthos. Yeah, so pretty solid Pendulum summon play there. Orthos, I believe, is a tuner, so he could have synchroed for something like Siegfried there if he wanted to, but he's going to go for the Wave Caesar. And coming out at 2,400. So we'll see what he decides to do. He's going to go ahead and crash into, or I believe he's activating Ragnarok effect here to tribute and banish. Either that or he's crashing. Could be one or the other. Because Ragnarok does have a really good on-field effect. And I think there's a judge call here for something. Not entirely sure. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what the judge call would be for. But it looks like opting not to make that play. I assume he wants to get the Wave Caesar in the grave so he can search a contract. I'm assuming that. And also, since those scales, those Pendulum Monster are Ixie's materials, they will go to the grave, I believe, when they are detached. So he will actually activate the effect of the Wave Caesar, and this will make it so anything that is destroyed by battle or just destroyed period for the rest of the turn, or during the battle phase, I think, those monsters are brought back after the battle phase, however many were destroyed, and then during the next standby phase, you take 1,000, I believe, for every monster that was revived. So we will see the Mach X get summoned here, and then we're going to see him go battle phase. That's going to crash into the Wave Caesar. He'll take 400, and then he'll get to search the contract, and then he'll go over top of his High Wave Caesar with the Deus Mach X, and take 200 there, and he's going to go ahead and they're each going to go ahead and get to search their contracts, and I believe just reading the dog for a second there. And so he'll get a search, and end of the battle phase, I believe he'll get to revive as well. Yeah, so he will resolve that effect, bringing back just the Wave Caesar, and then activating the contract with the Swamp King. First summoning Marksman Tell, though, and detaching to burn for 1,000. And yeah, Marksman Tell is a card I have not seen in quite some time in DDD, so it's really cool to see it back. Be able to fusion off from the field there, dodging the Lancia, essentially going for a Genghis, and I believe he can make a rank 6 of his own here, if he would like. It's very nice. That dog also happens to be a level 6, and using Marksman Tell to go ahead and send a copy of Ragnarok from the deck. Nice DDD monster to be able to be set up in the grave for different types of fusion plays next turn, because your fusion plays vary based on whether you have either DD monsters you're fusing with or DDD monsters, because that'll determine what type of monsters they can summon from the extra deck. So establishing that classic end board of rank 6 plus the new rank 10, I believe, the Mach X. And then Rage is preventing any damage that would be taken. So he would have took 1,000 from the Wave Caesar effect. That would fully resolve here in the standby phase. And we're going to see our other DDD player here on the left, my friend Adam, take 1,000 from his contract. And now trying to figure out how to crack the board here. We're going to see him slap down a contract with the Swamp King. And then we're going to see him go ahead and pop DD Griffin somehow, and then just go battle phase to run over the Wave High Caesar, and that'll allow him to search a contract. Gonna go ahead and add another Swamp King, it looks like. And the side note here, I wish these contracts would get a rarity bump. Maybe in the next OTS pack, OTS 19, we'll see some foil contracts or a foil D'Arc. I think that would be definitely deserving for a deck like this that's been around as long as it has been. Or maybe foil Keplers, you know, that'd be kind of nice. So now we're going to see him activate Swamp King here, I believe. Or actually not Swamp King, activate Dark Contract with the gate. And that's going to allow him to go ahead and search the deck for a DD monster. It's going to add a copy of Kepler. Will act as a body and for fusioning with the Swamp King, and then also be able to dump an extender to the grave in the form of either Swirl or Necro Slime, or Vice Typhon if some people play that. So we'll see what he decides to do. He has a lot of DDD monsters in grave, so he could potentially bring out a really big boss monster here. But it looks like he will opt to go ahead and fuse away the Copernicus in hand and the Genghis from grave. And we'll see what he's going to opt to go ahead and summon here. Maybe the High Genghis. Going to go for D'Arc here. And that's going to trigger Ragnarok in the scale. And instead of taking the 1,000, he'll gain the 1,000 because of D'Arc's continuous-like effect. And he'll get to spec back any DD monster. Or it might be DDD, DD, or DDD. I can't keep it straight sometimes. And then he'll revive the High Wave Caesar. Gain 1,000 instead of taking it. And still has to deal with the Mach X that's on field. And looks like he was possibly going to go for a link play there into something like Gilgamesh. Looks like he has contract with the Witch in hand as well, which is basically like kind of a Raigeki break. Interesting main deck choice here. Although I do like it for playing around Dark Ruler. It's very nice, especially if you have access to Siegfried. So we'll see what he's going to do from here. Going to go ahead and go for Link 2, and going to go for the Dark Charmer Gloomy. And That's going to trigger Wave High Caesar to go ahead and search. Another contract with the Hellgate, as it used to be called, I believe. And so just going for a search there, and then he's going to go opt to take something from his opponent's grave, since there are plenty of options in this mirror match. Just dark monsters galore. Now, I don't really know if it was, like, entirely worth it to go ahead and do that, because you have Mach and X, which is kind of a threat. You also just brought back Caesar. So, like, I feel like he could have at least linked off Caesar and the High Caesar and the Diarch for that and kept the Mach and X. And then Mach and X of his opponent is going to take the Gloomy. He'll still get to summon that Ragnarok from his opponent's field. That'll trigger Ragnarok to revive one from grave. So I feel like he's kind of just going in circles here. He is still learning the deck. Keep in mind, he did play DDD a long time in the past, but, you know, learning the deck with the new cards is a whole different ball game. So he will go ahead and set a card, which is the Valkyrie here, and pass. I assume he just wanted to get like a Gilgamesh on field, maybe to like pop, possibly to trigger its effect to revive from grave, but not able to fully play around that Mach and X there, which is kind of an insane card. Just detach, take, detach, take, detach, to take. Really, really strong. But now it is up to our DDD player on the right, my friend Partho, to try and close this game out here. Really not too much opposition on the opponent's field. Just Gilgamesh. You got to kind of watch out for being able to flow into a bigger body. No Mach and X here, though. That's kind of nice. And also one Mysterious Set back row. Could be Imperm Droplet. Could be Valkyrie. I mean, if he expects it. So we will see him use Necro Slime and Grave to go ahead and fusion summon for a small Genghis. And then we're going to see him pitch a Kepler in hand to go ahead and summon a Lamia from the grave. That's going to trigger small Genghis. Genghis will revive. And this is where those summoning chains can start happening. He's going to revive Ragnarok. Ragnarok effect to activate to go ahead and revive again. Reviving Wave Caesar. And just like that, the board is flooded. And there's the contract with the Witch. It's going to go ahead and pop the Ragnarok. And, I mean, if he does survive the turn here and all those contracts stick, and the Arc stays as well, which I don't imagine it will, he could gain a nice 3,000 life points in the standby phase. That's wishful thinking. So popping the Ragnarok, I think, makes the most sense, just because that can just be more removal to open the field up. So you kind of got to make him work a little harder to crack the board completely. Kind of mixed match levels here. This also could be a very cool point to be playing something like Meteor Burst Dragon, to be able to summon the Rage from the Pendulum Zone. I'm not even sure what its monster effect is entirely. I probably could look it up. Bit of a learning experience for me as well as I commentate over this, so we're all kind of learning together, I suppose. When this card declares an attack, if your opponent's life points is 4,000 less, you can make this card gain attack equal to your opponent's life points until the end of this turn. It cannot be destroyed by battle. Also, you take no damage from battle involving this card. You can choose one of the monster to apply one of these effects. This card can attack directly. Your opponent can activate cards or effects on spell and trap zones. Your opponent cannot activate card effects in their hand or graveyard. So yeah, you could just possibly attack directly for 4,000, even though I don't think he'll need it. He's going to synchro for Baron here with the Orthos and the Genghis. Nice level 4 tuner there, pairing with a 6. And then he's going to pop the Gilgamesh. He'll negate the Gilgamesh with the Baron to make sure he cannot float into something. And then we're just going to see him continue to march here in the battle phase. And I don't think it's looking too good for my friend Adam here on the left. I think this might just be a nice 2-0 here. Yeah, I mean, just looking at the sheer field presence here tells its story on its own. Now, Diarch is 2,700, I believe. So he will go ahead and crash to take 3, and that is going to trigger the effect of regular Caesar Salad to go ahead and search a copy of the contract. And since Nixie's monster has battled, he's going to go ahead and make a Zeus. And just wipe the slate clean. He does have contract for follow-up alongside Graveyard Follow-up past turn. And did our DDD player here on the left see what he needed to see? He still has Swirl and Grave, and he has a contract in hand that it was known to be searched. He will unfortunately have to pass there and only at 5,800 life points. He's going to slap that contract down, and we'll see what he's going to go ahead and search here. Grab a copy of Thomas. Droll Knockbird on Resolution. We'll see how much it matters. Scale Kepler, Scale Thomas, summon out Ragnarok, and that is just actually, I think, game right there, 5,800 exactly. So DDD on the right, my friend Partha taking the match 2-0. If you guys want to see more of my content, click on one of the videos popping up on the bottom of the screen right now. And last but not least, a huge shout out goes to our Divine level channel members, and they are Tweeter0226, Ponystar, Cadillacs84, Keith Sidgers, and Black Ninja Money. Thank you guys so much, as always, for your extremely generous support.